My name's Elsie Chandler. I teach ESL. This year I'm teaching Level 4, which is a high intermediate course at the Milpitas Adult School. It provides 5 levels of ESL classes, Level 1 through 5, and it provides 3 hours and 15 minutes of instructional time every day, Monday through Friday, in the mornings, and there's also an evening program, 2 days a week in the evening. My agenda, I write it on the board every day. It helps me and the students for continuity, because it's always building. We're always building on what we have learned in the previous day. And it helps with the flow of the class and the pacing of the class, and helps me to kind of focus on what I want to do next. If I get a little bit lost or something, I could just look over at the board and oh yeah, here we go. This is what we should be doing next. And it just creates a good focus for every day's lessons. And to make sure that I'm scaffolding, that I'm building on lessons from day to day. ESL classes, it's very diverse, not only nationalities, but also in educational backgrounds. Some students have advanced degrees from their countries, and others, finished high school or not even high school, and everything in between. So they have a lot of different strengths and weaknesses. As a teacher, I feel like I have to find out what those are. Some students are very good at reading and writing skills. Others are better at listening and speaking. So I have to be aware of that and modify my lessons and the execution of my lessons in a way to make sure that everybody is with me, on board with me, following the lesson, not being left behind, or not being on the other side, totally bored with the lesson, right? So finding that middle ground to make it so everybody is happy and learning and engaged at the same time can be very difficult in an ESL class. But I do it in various ways. The pacing is a big one. I make sure that I'm always walking around and make sure that everybody is engaged, that they're on task, and checking to see where they are at, if it's a writing task or a speaking activity that they're doing in a group, making sure that everybody is participating, and everybody's on task. And if I see that some people are behind others, because students do process information in different ways. Some can just go through it really quickly, and others take more time. So I give those students who are a little bit behind more time by challenging the ones that are further ahead, by giving them some sort of extension activity, or asking them to help somebody else, or make sure that they're engaged in some way so they're not bored in the class, right? So it's just paying attention to where everybody's at, and making sure that everybody's having a good learning experience that day. Sometimes if they're doing a worksheet, and somebody's already finished, I'll just have them get up and write on the board, like I did earlier. Just write them on the board, or give them something else to think about that's going to challenge them, just to keep them engaged. And because you want students to be comfortable in the class, and you want them to feel confident. I think when you're learning a language, that's like the number one thing, is to build their confidence and make sure they feel relaxed and comfortable in the class, so they can participate. They're comfortable to raise their hand and participate, and make mistakes is okay, right? So you want to create that environment. I think it's to build a classroom environment, to do pair work and small group work, I think is really important. And I do that a lot. I'm always changing partners. So they're not only learning from me, but they're learning from each other. They have a lot to learn from each other because they have so much background knowledge already. They come into this class with so much knowledge already and experience, right? So I want them to share that with each other and learn from each other, and help each other. Sometimes, if they don't want to ask the teacher the question, they can always ask their classmate. So I do a lot of that, a lot of pairing up and changing partners, small group. Also, sometimes I'm very cognizant of the groupings, and I'll make sure that I have one stronger student with a couple weaker students or something like that, where I know that they're going to be successful in whatever task they're doing because they have a strong person in there. And the opposite, if I see that I did a count off and somehow all these weak students ended up together, I jump in there and I change it because I know that that's not going to be the best situation. They may not succeed in the task, right? So I'm always aware of the groupings. But I think, doing a lot of pair work and group work is a good strategy. Well, I think when you're learning a language, there's a lot to consider. They have to be hearing a lot of comprehensible input. They have to be hearing a lot of what they're hearing from me, listening from me, and from audios that I play or videos that I play. Has to be, they have to be able to understand it at some level. Sure, they're not going to understand every word or every phrase that they hear, but it has to be input that is, comprehensible to them. So I have to find material that's not too low or not too high, right? It has to be level appropriate material. When you're learning a language, you have to hit the teacher, and the classroom environment has to hit all the different modalities, right? You have to listen, speak, read, write, practice your pronunciation, increase your vocabulary. There's a lot going on in ESL when you're learning a language. So it's important that I always include all of those modalities in every day. Every day when I'm planning my lesson, I'm thinking about, okay, how is a student listening to something? Are they speaking? Are they writing? Are they reading? And they should have time to do all of those skills every day, so they can improve on all of those areas, and they all interconnect. All right, so it's important that I'm touching on all of those, and grammar, of course, always grammar, and a lot of repetition and review and that kind of thing. But what they're getting out of it is that little by little, day by day, they are gaining confidence. Number one, like I said before, they're becoming more confident in their speaking ability and their language ability, English language ability, and that they're becoming, of course, that they're learning more English and they're improving their English skills, but that's giving them confidence to go out there and reach their next goal, right? What is their next goal? They're going to go to college, they're going to get a job, they're going to help their children with their homework, they're going to read a story to their children at night in English, not in their native language, but whatever their goal is, for their family, their life, I hope that that's what they're getting out of it, is that they're getting that confidence to move closer to that goal and to set goals for themselves. That's what we do at the beginning of the year, beginning of every quarter. We always talk about SMART goals, and because everybody in the class is different. These are adults. They have to. It's important for them to set goals. They're in a new country now, so there's a lot that they're getting out of this class, I hope. And I try to think of homework ideas that are not your traditional homework, like fill out this worksheet kind of thing. Yeah, that where it's fun, and I don't usually give homework because, number one, not all of them will do it. They don't have time. And number two, like you could see today, not everybody shows up in any given day. right? So those who are going to come tomorrow maybe weren't here today, and then they missed out on the homework. Although I will send them a message about it as well, so that everybody knows what the homework is. But those who weren't here don't have the worksheet, you know. So but communicating with students is also important. Everybody, thank you for this opportunity. For sharing my classroom with you, and I hope you learned something from it. And good luck to you, future teachers out there. I highly recommend going into ESL teaching. It's a very rewarding and wonderful job. The students are very motivated and committed, and you know, it's I love it every day. I think the word that comes to mind is scaffolding. You know, just everything you do, every lesson you teach, you're going to build on it. So it's like building blocks, like little baby steps. And if you keep that in mind and just always come back to what you did the day before and then build on that, and then go back a little bit and then go forward, go back and then go forward. And so you're always building and learning little by little. And yeah, the students are great. They have great questions, always have great questions. Maybe you're not going to be able to answer all of them, but that's okay, you know, because I always tell my students that I'm learning from them too. And some things as native English speakers, we just do it because that's the way it is, right? That's the way we say it. But then having to turn around and explain why is it this way to your student can be tricky sometimes, but that'll come with experience. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, so good luck to you all.